And we're off to the races. Let the proverbial good times roll, guys, as they would say in my generation. I am excited because the next person almost needs no introduction. Okay, this guy is a powerhouse. He does it all. He's a singer, he's a writer, he's a designer, he's a choreographer. His costumes and clothing flair, they tell a great story. It's flamboyant. It's inspirational. It's expressive. My friends, this guy has won the three. He's been nominated 3 times, twice for an urban hip hop rap category for the Hollywood Independent Music Awards. He's nominated now for the World Entertainment Awards. My friends, I am beyond excited, elated to bring my good friend, Mr. J. Cool Career.
Yes.
I did it, dude.
Yeah, I felt like I was like on cue, like a dance cue, like ready, go.
And then you landed, which is
I landed right on it, right? You know what I'm saying?
It's pretty hot in here, baby.
Woo! That's why we wearing red. You know
what I'm saying? Good old Woodland Hills in San Fernando Valley, dude.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, San Fernando Valley is where it all happens, right? The olden days, it was the what do you call it? The capital of porn, and you know, obviously you had in the olden days, you had Richie Valens, right?
Yes.
Richie Valens is from San Fernando Valley, and hey guys, welcome to the good old San Fernando Valley. This is whatever, yours truly, Johnny Boy, and we have our next contestant from all the way from the good old San Fernando Valley. His name is Richie Valenzuela, otherwise known as Richie Valens.
Was it really Valenzuela? That was like
his actual name was Richie Valenzuela, but he couldn't. In the olden days, it was everything had to be anglicized. So he had his name was chopped to Richie Valens, and instead of Ricardo Valenzuela, it was Richie Valens, so that it could sell, and he did pretty damn good, I would say, back in that period of time. But hey, man, it's good to have you, dude. You're a ball of fire, like I said earlier. So I want you to just take the reins, baby, and walk us through your time. I know you went through some pretty tough times early on, and you're hailing from New York City, right? All the way from New York. So take it away, man, Mr. J. Cool. I'm super happy, and thanks again for coming on.
Well, Jimmy, I don't know if I can call you Jimmy. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine, Jimmy. Right. A lot of my friends call me Jimmy. You're now part of the crew.
I'm the crew. You know what I'm saying? The two live, because we live crew. So first of all, I want to say thank you for having me. Thank you very much for having me. I'm so glad to be able to be on your platform, and and I just want to say what an amazing person you are, and thank you for being so welcoming and supporting us independent artists. All right, you know, I'm so happy that we are able to get to a point where we can be able to promote and have the freedom to do the things with our art and to express the way we want to express. Now, just so you know, if it was back in the day and if it was a record label telling me to have an interview, they'll tell me what to say. But at least with this, we can say what we want.
Your own volition, baby, whatever you like.
But anyway,
so I'm just tucked away in that heart of yours, in that noggin.
It's a big heart. It is. I promise you. I
can feel the palpitations. I can feel it.
Air, water.
It's very palpable. Here, let me get some water while we're at it.
So Jimmy, the thing is that I grew up, you know, from humble beginnings. You know, I would say, you know, me and my sister, we grew up in a household, and yes, we were poor, but we weren't actually living in a poor area because my mom was a housekeeper and for a wealthy man. But the thing is that, you know, we were abused kids. I mean, she was never around, and she was around, you know, we were really abused, and she abused us like crazy. And the thing is that I found, you know, solace through art. I used to be a painter, and I used to draw things. I used to go outside and draw things. And then I realized that I had a knack for designing because despite the way my mom was, she was actually into fashion. You know, she wanted to look beautiful in front of everybody, blah, blah, blah. She was one of those type of women that, oh, she goes out there and she was a very beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's the only thing I admired her from her, is that she always looked beautiful, but she taught me something without even teaching me something. You know, it's like somebody is showing you things and they're really not teaching you. I mean, they're really not intentionally teaching you. But what it made me realize back in the day, and I was just so young, but I had a good sense to see that when you look beautiful and you put a good image out, you know, people don't look at what's in, they just look at what's out there. You know what I'm saying? And they make judgment from that. So if they see something beautiful and gorgeous, but that the inside can be bad, they don't see that. They just see beauty. So, yeah, you know, so the thing is that it taught me something, and I thought maybe it was a United States thing, because, you know, everything is just so superficial. You know what I mean? Of course, in our business, you know, everything is so superficial. And of course, if you want to sell records, you know, we got to look good, of course, you know, but, you know, but the thing is that she used to wear all these dresses, and she used to have Vogue magazines. And I used to always look through the Vogue magazines, and I was like, wow, look at these amazing dresses and the style. And it was like art. I didn't really look at it as dresses, but it was like art. And I started incorporating that. I used to take tissues. And, you know, I don't know if you remember back in the day when you used to have those Kleenex tissues, they'd be white, sure. Then they turn purple, then they turn pink, then they turn yellow. Do you know? You know what I'm saying? So I used to take that and I used to watercolor. And I used to see these beautiful women. I used to draw, you know what I mean? Like the hair and you know, with watercolor. And I used to put the paint on the actual, the tissue paper. And that was the way that I was able to make these dresses and these costumes. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then as the abuse got more, you know what I mean? I started, I lost interest in it. Yeah. And I lost inspiration. And my second thing was going to the church, because we were forced to go into the church, into the Catholic Church. Oh, God rest my soul. Anyways, what I didn't like the church, because the nuns were so cruel and everybody was so mean. I mean, they were really so rigid.
Why they were cruel?
Yeah. Why?
They got none.
You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about that too. You know what I'm saying? Not back in the day, because I didn't know about that stuff. You know what I mean? Because all I knew is that if I thought about sex, I was going to hell. That's all they told me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? You know what I'm saying?
They were doing it after hours though. They had a double life, you know? Go ahead. Continue.
Now I realized why they were so damn uptight. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ. So check this out. But one thing I can say I loved about the Catholic Church is the music. Even though, yes, it was just like one melody. Blah, 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 blah. All right. But I liked it. I liked the melody. I liked the stained glass. I just liked the ambiance. I thought it was so
unbelievable.
Cool. You know what I mean? So I was able to sing. And that's where I took my solace with singing. And I didn't realize that I had the talent for singing. And I started singing lead. And then music, I just went straight to music. But then from music, then I went to dancing. And in my elementary school, I used to dance a lot. And, you know what, of course, Michael Jackson was the craze back then. So I used to do my, you know, pop lock and, you know what I'm saying, and my Michael Jackson stuff. And, you know, and then I started dancing a lot, you know what I mean? But still, after all that.
This is circa 1983, 84, maybe.
More like 85.
Thriller era.
Yes. Okay. You know what I mean? And so what happened? So I ended up getting, you know, the art stuff and the painting stuff that just went away. And I just started focusing more on dancing for some reason like that. And I saw that people had a big knack for dancing. I mean, and if you were a good dancer, you know what I mean? People would look at you and you'd be cool in school. You know what I'm saying? You know that rhyme, by the way. Anyways, yes. So you'd be cool in school. You know what I mean? Because, you know, there ain't no food.
Stay in school if you want to be cool. There was some kind of slogan to that effect in the world.
So the thing is that we started doing dance contests, and I used to always win the dance contest. I said, you know what? Damn, I was getting more friends. The girls were all over me, and everybody was just like wanted to be my friend. I said, you know what? I could use some friends because I don't want to go back home because, you know, a lot of abuse back home. So I took solace in that. And the more I wasn't home, the better I felt. You know what I'm saying? And I was very chatterbox. I like to chatter. I like to talk to people. You know, I always like to hang out with people. You know what I mean? So I guess I was cool. And I used to always
feeling you and I can get along pretty well.
And I used to, I was a jokester, man. I used to love making and I was the class clown. You know what I mean? But I mean, not too crazy, but you know what I'm saying, a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? But then after that, I got into dancing, and from dancing, I decided to start singing again. And once I started singing, I started getting in with bands. You know what I mean? I used to get in with the corporate bands, because not only can you make money with those corporate bands, but you get to sing all these types of musics. You know what I mean? Now, the only thing I didn't like, because I was so young at the time, and the corporate leaders of these bands, they were older. Of course, they were white. You know what I mean? Of course, they would have one token black guy. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're always looking for. But one thing, we used to always sing for the judíos. You know what I mean? And the judíos, for some reason, of course, they had money, so they loved Latin music, I noticed. But the thing is that I used to like listening to Latin music, because I used to visit my father in Dominican Republic. So when I would go visit him, I noticed that I ended up liking it more than American music. Now, I love my American music, of course, you know what I mean? But the Latin music was something about it, the merengues and the salsa. And when I would go to the DR, I mean, I would see that, when they danced, and let me tell you, when people partied, they partied. Even though when that time you go to their house, they don't have nothing in the fridge. You know what I'm saying? Because they spend all their money on party time. You know what I'm saying? And they have these Rolex watches, but they still don't have no money always. You know what I mean? Oh, mi hermanito, regalarme $50, but you ain't got no money, because you know what I'm saying? You're partying up all night. You know what I'm saying? But I remember all that. But you know what? They knew how to party. That's one thing I can say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got into that scene, and then I decided there was a guy here who was opening up a big club in Fort Lauderdale. All right.
Nice.
And it was called Hot Chocolates. And the thing is that he had an audition that was going down here. And I like Latin music so much. I mean, but my Spanish was bad, because even though my father tried to speak to me in Spanish, but when you're American, all your friends are American, and then of course the Latinos that were here, that were immigrants, they only wanted to speak English. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have nobody to speak Spanish to, except when I visited my father. You know what I'm saying? So I had no interest, but I just loved the music. So that audition forced me to learn my first two songs. The first one was a duet by Mark Anthony La India, Vivir lo Nuestro. You remember that one?
Dude, that's like Mark Anthony in the good old salsa years, prior to the Mark Anthony that most mainstream know him as today. Yeah, that was at the height of the real salsa stuff back in the day.
Yes.
That's when he donned the ponytail.
Yes.
Right? Yeah,
yes.
Dude, I remember.
Long hair then.
Yeah. See, I know my shit. And you remind me, more to your point, you remind me a lot of the people that, you're right. Yeah, like Selena, Selena was learned the words like phonetically, the songs, but didn't, and the rhythm and whatnot, but couldn't really. Her Spanish was choppy.
Yes,
as I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
there's something about the music. I mean, it's just like
music.
I just felt like every time I would see the artists, it's like the rhythms were so amazing, but the artists didn't really like dance the way that I envisioned they should be dancing, with that type of rhythm. And I said, you know what? One day I'm gonna start doing Latin music, and I'm gonna show them off, and I'm gonna be like, you know what? This is the way you should be dancing to merengue.
Hey, did you dance? So what is it, real quick? I want you to continue, because your story is freaking unbelievable, and I really am hanging on every word, but I'm gonna just here and there plug in my 2 cents.
Okay.
So real quick, merengue and salsa, what is the difference?
Okay, so salsa is more, how would I say, it has a more adagio type of moderate type of rhythm. Okay. There's a step that goes with it, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, where merengue is more a faster rhythm. And at the same time, you can just move your hips. You know what I mean? Bum, 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 bum,
yeah.
It's
So it's a constant. There's continuity to the. You're kind of almost going along with this. With it's kind of like a wave, as it were, and it keeps moving. Where salsa, it's more. It's got like a 1-2-1-2 sort of, right?
No, the 1-2-1-2 is more like the merengue, but the salsa is more the wave, because you have to flow.
Oh yeah. Now there's different styles, as I understand it.
Yes.
Miami's one style. LA has a different style. My friend. friend from the olden days. He was a salsa instructor and told me that there's different. It depends on where you're at. The salsa is different. It could go sideways or forward,
Um,
but it carries the same idea.
I mean, yes, it does, but there's there's casino salsa, there's the guamanco, there's different types of salsa. Yes, they have different types of rhythm, but um, I'm sorry, different types of style, but the rhythm is practically almost the same. I mean,
Yeah.
my favorite salseros was Joe Arroyo. No, he was my number one salsero.
Okay.
Second was Oscar de Leon. I loved him.
Yeah. He's the
You know,
bald guy with the mustache.
well, he wasn't bald back then, but yeah, he's bald now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, but nowadays, like that's when you think of Oscar, and he wears white all the time. Like he was like a white ensemble kind of white.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It brought out his blackness.
Yeah.
When we're black, we got to bring a little white to bring out our chocolate. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody said it's caramel, bro.
Caramelo. Caramelo, caramelo, caramelo. Oh, yeah.
I love it, dude. That's really awesome, bro. That's so rad. I gotta tell you something. My love for salsa began, well, as a Mexican man, I began with the tacos, right? But and then I lived so I lived in Alhambra many years ago, and my neighbors adjacent to me were no, I'm lying. When I lived in East LA where I grew up, there was a friend of mine, Cheo. Cheo was my parents were from Puerto Rico, and every time I went to his house, we used to dabble. His mom was super upset because he would sample a lot of stuff on the records and scratch them because he was doing the scratching
Yeah.
on the record. And we play like old stuff like Roxanne, remember that one? Like
I want to be your man.
Right. And like old school stuff, or Run DMC, I mean, you name it, right? Go down the rabbit hole of music.
My Adidas.
Yeah, and then you said Two Life Crew. We played some of that too. Mom was super upset. I don't want you listening to that stuff.
Dad.
But at any rate, that's where the love of salsa first started. Because you're right, the party really cool, man. Like every weekend.
But how'd you go from salsa to like Two Life Crew, Pop That Coochie?
but on
I'm a little lost here.
The weekend, on the weekend, it had nothing to do with Two Life Crew. I can assure you. The lady wanted to listen to Oscar de Leon and La Guarachera, what was the name? Guarachera?
Celia Cruz.
Celia Cruz, yeah. And Tito Puente, and it went into from that to like some Latin jazz. It's like, salsa with rock. And my God, dude, but they could dance, and it's that love for salsa, because I listened to a lot of other music, but salsa wasn't until I met Cheo, and I was like maybe I had to have been 7 or 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved to Alhambra, and my neighbors were also Cuban American, second generation, and they were always playing salsa. And when they spoke Spanish, it's funny because my good friend's son, he not so much her, but him. He sounds like right off the boat because he was raised by his grandparents, and she used to always tease him, "Man, you sound like you're right off the boat, dude." And because when he talks Spanish,
did you understand what he said?
Huh?
Did you understand what he said though? Like when he talked to you, did you understand what he was saying?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. But that was when. It goes back to the love of music. Like that's what I would hear it blaring through the windows every weekend, dude. And they're at it again, and I come over and I just watch them relish and enjoy this time, dude. And I enjoy with them. And it was the food and the arroz con habichuela and dude, the beans were freaking like beans in a blender, just
Is it like grandules?
pureed. It's just pureed, huh?
Was it like grandules or was it like
Yeah, with frijoles with garandules. Yeah. And then
like, there's nothing like a Latin party, right?
Dude, it was something else. But anyway, I got lost into that. Point is, that's the first, like, the love of salsa. And then after that, every time I hear it, I tell my girl, man, it's like salsa is something else. It's really puts you in a great mood no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
So
man.
go on.
And just dancing is amazing. I mean, but so this is where I get to I did the audition and I got it. And it's funny because the guy was a Judío who owned a casino in Dominican Republic. It was called the Jaragua. And I was like, really? I was like, so it kind of made me see that, a lot of these like casinos are not owned by Dominicans. I mean, they're owned by these like Americans, you know what I'm saying? And so they wanted to create that same type of Las Vegas style atmosphere in
Right.
Fort Lauderdale. And the
Like
thing is
Havana,
that
like Cuba,
yes,
Havana Nights.
right. So, but the thing is that the other two dancers that they hired, they were gringos as well. I mean, they were white. One was a white girl. There was a white guy, and they flew us on a private jet to go to Dominican Republic, and we ended up studying with the band director of Juan Luis Guerra. Her name was
Oh,
Janina.
shoot.
Yes,
Es Juan Luis Guerra y el 440.
40, yeah.
Burbujas de amor por
Oh,
tu pecera. That's a great song, dude. That dude is freaking
amazing.
phenomenal.
He is.
Amazing. Next level. It's otherworldly music. It's amazing.
He's like a classic, you know.
Yeah, I remember that dude. He used to get his. They used to play him plenty of times. I was like, "Who is that?" That's Juan Luis Guerra.
Yeah.
Phenomenal artist. I mean, from them to obviously, like we said, Celia Cruz to Pedro Knight, her husband. I mean, Tito Puente and all those cats. The New York kind of influence and fusion. Unbelievable, bro. We could spend hours here talking about this now. You got me
So when it comes
thinking,
to
bro.
music, and we can have our own little party here. What's up? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
we're really having a party. It's two of us. Remember, two live crew after all. So go on with your story.
It's live and it's lit.
It's
You know what I'm
lit,
saying?
baby. It's fire.
So check this out. So I ended up learning my Spanish from her because I ended up learning like one of the hardest songs, which was the Juan Luis Guerra A Pedir Su Mano, and then Bubu. No, not Bubu because that's what you were just saying.
That's
You
the
got it
one
in my
I
head. La Billy Rubina.
Oh, dude. Okay,
That was a hard song to learn.
How does it go?
Man, huh?
How does the Billy Ruina? It's
Oye, me dio una fiebre otro día
yeah.
que causa de amor cristiana. Que tu amor no. I forgot the words.
Dude,
Pero,
you sound, bro. Wait a
sube la
second.
bilirrubina.
There you go. You sound just
Cuando te
like
miro,
him.
no me mira.
Holy shit!
Remember that song?
God. You sound just like him, dude. It's nuts. What the fuck? All right, go on. This is great stuff, dude. Yeah.
So those are the songs I learned. And
Okay.
then from there, I ended up learning. There was a girl that they wanted to introduce me to who was like, you know, she was really big over there. And they put me together with her to sing the Vivi Lo Nuestro with Mark Anthony and La India. You know, and La India was really hot back then. So once we flew down here,
another artist.
yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
And so I started singing more Latin music, and so going back to the corporate stuff, when I got into the bands, you know, of course they looked at me as a black singer because they were always looking for that token black singer to sing the Motown stuff. And at that time, I didn't really want to sing Motown for some reason. Yes, there were some good Motown songs, but at that time I didn't like Motown. I wanted to do like the current stuff because, you know, I was really young at that time. So I was like, you know, and I like to move, you know what I'm saying? I want to do some crazy stuff, you know? So, but then when they found out that I sang in Spanish, they're like, oh, you know what? That's good because, you know, our crowd likes Latin music. So I started doing a lot in Latin music. Yeah, I did some of the R&B stuff, but yeah, I did a lot of Latin music, and the people got on the dance floor. They were dancing, even though they didn't know what they were doing, but they just liked that rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And I just knew that, you know, Latin music is not just for Latin people. You know what I'm saying? It's also for Americans. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of the Jewish community. We used to perform for them in these country clubs, and they loved it. They didn't know a word we were saying, but they just like, oh, come here, you dance with me, Mr. Black Man. I say, yeah, sure, baby, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Woo! And then after that, from there, all the songs that I had to learn, all the songs that I had to do from American to Latin, I just had these songs in my head, and this melodies and rhythms and beats in my head. And that's why, you know, for your audience out there, for new upcoming artists, you know, if you really want to stand the test of time in this business, I think it's great that you listen to all styles of music. You know what I mean? If you keep listening to all styles of music and you want to be a creator, I guarantee you have this computer here. It's going to hear, and things are going to start coming. Things are going to start coming. And, you know, people or artists or producers who have been listening to stuff back in the day till today, that is a dream of a, record execs or whatever, because the thing is that if you can create music and create new sounds, by listening to what was back then and blending it and creating something new, and the great example is Black Eyed Peas. Black Eyed Peas, if you notice, a lot of their stuff stemmed from back in the day, that style, but they put today's music with that. And I thought that was amazing. They put the beat of that, So
Little sidebar. I used to be a limo driver. See the little car in the corner? And I used to drive the Black Eyed Peas.
You did?
I drove the Black Eyed Peas for many years. I drove them for many years.
How about
At least a good some 5-6 years. I drove them at different times and all of their crew. And you're right.
Was Fergie in there?
Yeah, they kept it real, man, and they sampled a lot of the old stuff that we grew up enjoying, and to be able to make that blend, that fusion, I think, if you will, I think they're geniuses. will.i.am was, I guess, the creator, the guy at the helm of the band, so to speak. But great at dancing. I mean, Taboo was a dancer. He was what do you call it?
Break dancer.
Yeah.
He's the one with the long hair, right?
Yeah, he used to have long hair. He's Latino. He's a Mexican, Native American. Taboo cut his hair. Yeah, and he was a graffiti artist, I think, also, and he's got that style of the music, the style of clothing. I mean, these guys are just revolutionary. They were ahead of their time early on.
Was he from LA?
Yeah, they're from East LA. They're born and raised. They have a new song, East LA, and they're from Boyle Heights. Yeah, look them up. They're from Boyle Heights. They lived. will.i.am lived in the projects. He grew up on 8th Street in East LA, off of Soto. And Taboo, I think he has roots in Northeast LA, like Lincoln Heights, Dogtown area, and then he moved to Rosemead.
Okay,
I think that's where he grew up, in Rosemead, for most of his adult years, and then they moved all over the place. But yeah, they're for sure, dude. They're like basically Angelinos through and through, LA through and through. I mean, all the music scene. I think will.i.am was also a DJ, so they have all that
background,
the richness and enriching part of LA as we remember it, and not just LA, New York as well. I mean, because music, I mean, is universal. What we play here, you guys play. I mean, I remember listening in New York. What's that guy, Noel? He has that one song.
Silent Morning. Is that the one?
Come on, man. And we love that kind of music. And my older freestyle, right? You see what I'm saying? So a lot of that stuff is being sampled now. But Noel, I mean, is from New York, but the music you guys listen, Lisa, Johnny B, all those cats, the freestyle. Yeah, we're still listening to it today and other new music.
Is it Johnny B or Johnny O?
It's Johnny B, I believe, or Johnny O, maybe.
I don't know. Talking about Stevie B.
Stevie B. Thank you, Stevie B. Thank you. You know your shit. All right, so go on. Where were we?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So getting back to when I started writing music. So after that, I started writing music. I still was doing, a lot of the gigs, the corporate gigs and stuff like that. And I must say that, the corporate gigs, really helped because it showed me how to entertain a crowd. I mean, I wouldn't say
it showed you the money.
It showed me the money too, but I don't think I was really looking at the money. Of course, the money was good, but I was looking more at the aspect of getting my foot wet and to learn how to get out there and interact with people. That was very, very important, because if you don't start doing like that, it's like paying your dues. Especially if you want to be an entertainer, then
you gotta earn your stars.
You have a hard time.
Yeah. Earn your stars and stripes for sure.
Yeah. Because, once you start, if things start really going well for you, you want to know how to handle it when you have a bad night with your voice. Maybe when you've been pushing, maybe if the sound is bad, you get a bad sound guy. That's another thing. You get a bad sound guy and you end up pushing, And sometimes, we want to be able to give, and we don't instinctively, especially at that time, I was just like, they have to hear me. They have to hear me, instead of saying, you know what, I got another gig the next day. Let me back off. I'm not going to fight with the microphone. You know what I mean? So you got to learn how to work that. You got to learn how to take care of your instrument. You know what I mean? You got to learn how to sleep. That was another thing. And the thing is that a lot of artists, I always ask myself, why do all these artists get on drugs? Why do they end up drinking so much, and abusing themselves? You know what I mean? When they're doing so well. Well, I realized that after every show, I started getting this high. You know what I mean? It's like, because I'm performing, I'm dancing with the people and blah, blah, blah. And I get this high. So when I get home, it's like, I can't sleep. Huh?
You're writing this momentum, and
Yeah.
it's just climbing, and you're at the height of it. It's
Yeah.
peaked.
And it's like, I need to calm down, but I can't calm down. And now I can't sleep. So, back in the day, all I did was sleep late, because I come from a show. I can't just go straight to bed and sleep. I mean, I'm still on a high. But then at the same time, going back to that, I always keep my eyes open to learn not only about the business, but to learn about artists. I study a lot of artists and see why they have these downfalls. And I realize that once you get into this business, especially if you're signed to a label, they expect you to look a certain way, to be a certain way, which that might not be even be you. So now you're battling with yourself to ask yourself, is this who I really am? And on top of that, you get out there, you're uncomfortable with yourself. Why? Because you can't be yourself because of what you portrayed yourself out there to be, because thanks to the label, they said, this is what you're going to be. This is what you're going to like. This is how we're going to package you. You know what I'm saying? So now you get lonely. You get lonely because the people who are around you, they only see you because of where you're at. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody told me it's lonely at the top, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And then you start microdosing, and then you start really hitting the hard stuff, at some point.
Yeah.
Interesting. You just kind of, my head's unraveling like every which way. You got me pretty mind blown, like, wow. And when a lot of artists, that's something you don't take into account. A lot of people are like, oh, this person is a junkie, or this person hit a bottom low, like they're all bottoming out. See, that's why you don't want to do this. But nobody factors in everything you just finished talking about. That's super important. And it's interesting. You said, thanks for sharing that angle of common sense that amongst the artists, that I'm sure, it's not so common for us, that, I don't sing only in the shower. But it's so true, though. It's so true. Like those, because all these are paid gigs that you have. They're all lined up in the linear, and you have to go, and like they say, the show must go on, so to speak. So every time you're doing your thing, at some point, if your throat gives out, let's say this one time or whatever, and you still have to take into account, oh shit, I got to be ready for tomorrow to shine as well. And that's where it takes its toll, right?
No, you know what it is? Think about it. It's the pressure, because you do a good job one night. And if you're the type of person who's like, well, I got to do another good job. I don't want to, I don't want the crowd to think of this. I don't want my fans to think this. So I got to constantly be on and on and on and on and on. And you're like a machine. You don't have any time to rest. You don't know how to rest because you got to keep boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that's what
it's coming from every which way, that pressure, like you said, the record company, the people behind you, and now yourself, right? Because now this is like, dude, I did it so well the other day. I need to keep it up.
Exactly. And not just that, remember that you're also competing with what's coming out new. You know what I mean? So they're the companies are gonna put that in your head. Like, remember, you know what I mean? There are new artists out there, and you can just go away and the next one's going to come in. They put that in your head. So it's like, now it's more pressure. I mean, you can't relax and be an artist. And to be an artist, you have to be able to relax and let it flow. You have to let it flow. And when you're not flowing, it's trouble.
Man, dude, I'm taking notes, bro. You got to do a class for sure. You got to do a class. We should team up and do something together, bro. I'm serious.
Let me know, man. 2 Live Crew in the house.
Amen. J. Cool, let me ask you this. You're super charismatic. The name fits you well. Hence, J. Cool, charisma. You have charisma for days. Your showmanship in every which way, in every sense of the word. You're funny. You're witty. And you have color, man, which is fantastic. A flair to you. Let me ask you this. Okay, so let's talk about the days when you landed a part with Gary Busey. Come on. And what did you say it was? Roy Scheider?
Roy Scheider.
From Jaws, dude.
From
like
Jaws,
Yeah.
And for the Latinos that are listening, El Tiburón, el película de Tiburón.
The 50th anniversary of that film, by the way.
Yes, you're right. Speaking about that, right? So, okay. So before I started doing the gigs with the corporate gigs, the music gigs, I started getting into acting. I didn't go to school for it. What I started doing, because I wanted to do modeling, you know what I mean? But then, of course, at that time, you know, to be a male model, you had to be tall. It wasn't like now you can be, you know, I'm like 5'10". You know what I mean? You have to be like 6 feet or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have all that. And of course, being a person of color wasn't easy either, just so you know. So I said, you know, let me get into, I'll use my modeling pictures and I will start doing auditions. And so I started doing auditions, just being the natural that I am. And I started landing roles. And I started doing like stand-ins first. Like the first stand-in I did, I remember it was, I don't know if you remember Wild Things with Denise Richards.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
Those
Matt Dillon.
the two girls, a threesome and stuff with that one guy,
Yeah.
right? Wild Things. It's that one cat. God, I can't think of his name, but anyway.
Matt Dillon.
I know the film. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Matt Dillon, Kevin Bacon was in there.
Matt Dillon. There you go, Matt Dillon.
So I did a stand-in there, and then from there I did another stand-in. Well, not a stand-in, but it was like an extra in the John Leguizamo, The Pest, because they had like a conga line, so I was doing the conga line thing, and in a way it was kind of cool, but it was like I don't know. I thought it was kind of abusive to like, you know, us extras, because we had to stay 14 hours a day.
14?
14. It was 14-hour days. We had to stay there early in the morning, and we stayed there 14 hours. And then, you know, if they need you, blah, blah, blah. But one thing that what I was learning, well, I mean, I started making a lot of friends, which was good. You know what I mean? And
yeah, because of course your charisma kicked in.
Well, thank you. But, you know, I started, you know, hanging out with people, making connections. So I thought that was cool. But at the same time, if you wanted to get a bigger part, you can actually excel there if you just like kind of put yourself in, right? Which I did. And then I ended up getting a bigger part. The producer saw me, and he was filming the movie Plato's Run on HBO. And that's the one with Gary Busey, Stephen Bauer, and Roy Scheider. So they wanted to have me as the bad detective. So I was the guy, you know, who, you know, of course, me, I'm a singer now, but back then I was like the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? I like went into that damn limousine, you know, like, so like that limousine thing you got right there, you know, up there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was driving that limousine. I took that girl, I threw her in the car. We were driving, you know what I'm saying? We were driving. And then finally they came out, you know what I mean? And I had to hold her. And then Roy Scheider came, you know, that helicopter came down. Roy Scheider came, and he was like right in front of me saying, "Oh, black man, let her go." I let her
go. Phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal.
So, but then after that, check this out. Thank you. So check this out. Then after that, I ended up getting another role, but this one was in a music video. But check this out. It was a casting director. Do you remember Milli Vanilli?
Yeah, the guys that it was like the first lip singing
Scandal.
Yeah, Scandal.
Okay, so the guy who put them together, okay, his name was I remember he just died. Oh my God, what was his name? Anyways, I'll remember. But that guy,
Lou, right? Lou had nothing to do with them, right?
Who?
Lou Pearlman had nothing to do with them, right?
No, that's like Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, that was only those guys, the boy bands.
Yes. So Frank Farian, that was his name. Frank Farian. So Frank Farian, he was this German white guy with white hair, and he put Milli Vanilli together. So check this out. So they were filming a video down here in Miami, or like more in Key West. And there was a girl, an upcoming artist, her name was Andia. And so they needed a rapper, and they also needed like, they just needed a rapper, you know what I mean, to be there. So I said, yeah, I rap too, you know what I mean? Even though I know I really didn't rap, but check this out. So Mofo puts me in a video. I mean, first of all, I went into the video, and they didn't put me as the rapper first. They just put me as the actor in there. So I was an actor. It was like an Arabian scene type of thing. So when the girl comes in, she's like the princess. She comes in, she's meeting the prince. I'm one of the guys with the prince, and I'm just like messing with him, like what the hell? Like the blah, blah, blah. And I'm slapping him with the pillows and stuff like that. And then the girl comes in, and then we have to like look like that, you know, start with our acting skills, like, wow, you're saying blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So the guy said to me, he got me off the set. He said, "I'm going to take you somewhere." And I'm like, "Where are we going?" So he takes me to Frank Farian. He's like, "Frank, doesn't this look like Rob?" And then so I'm like, "Who the hell's Rob?" He's like, "The guy from Milli Vanilli." I said, "I look like him, really?" He's like, yeah. Just shut up. I'm like, okay, just smile. Okay. And it's
But you
like,
can actually sing. You can
right?
actually sing. You can
Mhm.
actually sing, J. Cole. Like they
No,
were
no,
lip syncing, but you can
I was
actually
too,
sing.
I was too nervous. I was too nervous to say anything because Frank was like this. He was just like, hmm, hmm, hmm. He didn't say anything. He just had these, he just gives you this look and it was like intimidating. You know what I mean? So I was like, you don't know what he wouldn't even talk. So he ended up, he's after we did the wrapping of that video, it was called 1001 Nights. He ended up saying that he liked me, and then he used me to be a rapper in the other part of her video.
Oh
Now,
wow.
check this out. You think I was really rapping?
Lip syncing, baby.
Thank you. I'm like, I know this mofo don't got me doing another Milli Vanilli thing here. You know what I'm saying? I hope I don't become famous because I don't want to say that, I ain't rapping. You
You
know what
should
I'm
say,
saying?
girl, you know it's true.
Right? Girl, you know it ain't true. Ooh, ooh, I ain't rapping for you. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. So after that, they wanted to use me for another video. And if you remember No Mercy,
Yeah.
so they ended up having me in his video because
Wow.
Frank liked me so much. And so you'll see me, I'm like in where the extras are, but I did one of the choreographies to the dance. And I did the thing with the girl, blah, 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 in that video. And it was called Morena. And so then after that, I got another part for a Burt Reynolds movie. They liked me so much. And they saw me dancing. So they said, there's going to be a scene in this movie called Big City Blues by Burt Reynolds. And the thing is that there's a part where Burt Reynolds captures the guy who's breaking into his house. He ties him up and then he starts doing this little dance. While he's putting the gun to his face, he starts doing this little dance, but with like these little boots. You know what I'm saying? He said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have you dance and we're just going to crop it. So you wear the pants. And I said, but how do you know if I wear the same shoes? I said, well, you're 9.5. I said, yeah, I am. And they said, no, your shoes. I said, oh, yeah, that too. I had to get you on that one.
You're good. Hey,
It is true what they say about the black people. Anyways, so check this out, right? So I ended up finding out that I'm 9.5 shoes, Burt Reynolds. So I ended up wearing those shoes and I ended up doing that part. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if that movie ever came out, but I ended up doing that. And then there was another scene in the movie where they wanted me to dress up like a frog. It was like an alien frog, but we were kind of like dancing and it was like so cool. But then after that, then some trouble started coming. Then there was another movie they wanted me to get into, but that producer.
Burt Reynolds, was it Boogie Nights?
No. Then they really would have
throw that in there, bro. Or Smokey and the Bandits, right?
Oh, I would have been a bandit on that one. But
Sure.
Check this out. So I decided to leave the film industry, to make a long story short, because the producers were asking me to do things that I didn't want to do, if you know what I mean. They were sexually harassing me. And I said, no, I'm not doing that shit. So I had a bad taste in my mouth and I decided to start going to music. That's when I got into, more of the singing because I knew I was a dancer. And I started getting more into the singing. And I said, I'll just work on music. And I started doing the gigs. And after the gigs, that's when I started learning about, I had these ideas in my head. I made enough monies that I was able to save. So I started creating a full album. And I would write here, I would write there, I would write here, write there until I made my album. The only problem is that at that time, I also had an investor, but the investor died. So I was able to make the whole album, but I wasn't able to promote because the money went to creating the art. Now, just so you know, artists today, if they have money, they either have the option to use the money to do a shitty ass video, you know what I mean? And a shitty ass song with shitty ass production and use more of the money to promote. And that's what I saw around maybe the 2000s or the late 90s. People were putting out crappy stuff, you know what I mean? And they were putting more money on the promotions because promotion is very expensive. And for some reason, I don't know if you notice sometimes when you see crappy music out there, like, what the hell is that playing? And why is that playing? But then you end up like, damn, it's so crappy, but damn, I gotta listen to that shit every day. And then you like, you know what? Damn, like, I kind of like it now because you listen to it so many damn times. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. It works. It's subliminal. It gets into your head.
So I learned that trick too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I said to myself, it's either I put my integrity, use the money for my integrity of the art. And if I don't have enough money for promotion, I don't care as long as I created something great. But I was thinking like future wise that if I create something now with all the money that I have, you know what I mean? Because I know my vision is going to be expensive because I like amazing things, you know what I mean? Because that's who I am. Yeah.
Yes, you do. By
So
nature, you're just like that. You're wired that way.
yeah, you
And
know,
then, you know, you want there's it's gonna be spectacular with all the I think all the bells and whistles for sure.
thanks.
It's gonna be amazing. And Jake, well, I want to tell you, I've had a blast. It's 45 minutes. It's
Oh,
unreal. It feels
oh my
like it
God.
just blew by. It
All
blew
right.
by really. I just
Well,
wanted to
listen,
thank you. Yeah,
well, wait. Can I say something before we leave?
sure. No, I was gonna give you a couple minutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's
So
wrap this thing up for sure, but then
I was gonna
we'll
say,
have you come back. Okay, go ahead.
okay, so in 2017, my song "Senorita" it was number one, and the promoters basically they stole my money. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. I was depressed for years, and then after that, I decided to keep going, and I had people around me to say keep going, and I took that song and I started promoting it again, and that's when in 2023 it got nominated at the Hollywood Independent Music Awards, and I kept going more, and now my new song "Fantasía Sin Finales" just came out 3 months ago. And it, by the way, the song Senorita, I decided to re-promote it again this year. And in Latinos Unidos Online, it was on the charts for 7 months and it peaked at
Wow.
number 13. And I just want to say
Whoa,
thank
that's
God.
fucking
And thank you
phenomenal.
for letting me share that because I just want to tell your viewers, any of your artists out there, to don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought of giving up because my money was gone and promoters heard it already. So I'm like, I can't promote this anymore, but I still kept doing it. So even though you're an independent artist, there are a lot of people who haven't heard it. You know what I mean? So just keep going with that. And guys, please check out my new song, Fantasía Sin Final. In Spanish, you'll see the video. I designed the costumes. I choreographed the dancers. I did the hair, the makeup, and I produced the whole song. And you're going to love it. It's very entertaining, and it's kind of a love story, but sexy in a way, sexy Latin. And I also have a version in English, Endless Fantasy as well. Okay.
Love
And that
it.
song just got nominated last month at the Hollywood Independent Music Awards. So
Yes, congratulations, bro. That's right.
thank you. Thank you.
I'm beyond thrilled to have had you on the show. You're honestly just just a powerhouse, dude. I can't express myself sometimes as I wish I could, or
You think I can?
just the fact that you're just bigger than life. I mean, you're bigger than life. Attitude and positivity is amazing. It's very palpable. And I just wanted to thank you for this moment. Uh, you know, you gotta for sure. We gotta like definitely do this again.
Sure.
We could talk about a few other things that we left out, but bro, you're an inspiration. Know it. And my God, you've inspired me. I think I'm gonna start singing. Fuck it, you know. I was like, I should just go and take off and start singing. Just do
I'll
it.
sing with you.
But you're
Your backup.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I could do Milli Vanilli style. You know, you can do the singing. I can just do the
Oh, you know it's true.
J.
And
Cool
please,
Charisma.
yes, and please tell everybody to find me on Instagram, J Cool Charisma, and Facebook, J Cool Charisma on all platforms. And my song Fantasía Sin Final is on all platforms as well.
You
Please, I
you stole
support
those
it.
words
I
from
know
my
you'll love
mouth. I
it,
was
so I
gonna
can make
say.
more great music for you guys.
Social media handles. You took it away. That's what I love about this. You did all my job for me today. Thank you so much, J. Cool Charisma. You guys, ladies and gentlemen, that's my show. Till next time, hello and goodbye until we meet again. That's Almost Famous Radio Podcast with Jim Francis Meza. You guys can follow me if you like. If not, I will come after you. All right, guys, take care.
Bye.